Kory, I'm glad you're joining. So everybody, Kory Woods, the Detroit Lions beat reporter for the Woodward Sports Network. We're so happy to have you on today, man.
What's going on?
Kory,
Got some questions, man.
are you telling me it took 10 weeks for Dan Campbell to sit down with his offensive coordinator and just come up with a game plan that wasn't complicated? It was nothing pretty. Nothing out of the ordinary. Nothing like, oh, wow, they really went into the bye week and they really thought of something close. No, they just pounded the ball on the ground. It took 10 weeks, one, to make that decision. Two, he needed to call the plays. Anthony Lynn couldn't have called a running back dive or a running back toss 30, 40 times in a game. Am I missing something?
I mean, we can only go off of what they're telling us. This is what they said. He said that he took over. He was going to, first off, I like how he was being a little coy about it to begin with the entire time. Oh, I'm going to be more involved in the offense. Then it translated to slowly, okay, last night, yeah, I took over the offense.
Which is out of his character because typically he's very upfront and blunt and very aggressive. Like, yeah, I'm taking over play calling this week.
Well, you know what? I kind of got the sense that I'm not gonna try to read too much into things, but I kind of got a sense that he was going to be a little bit more involved based on how Anthony Lynn was talking last week during the press conference, to the media session. It's kind of like, hey, I mean, he's the coach, you know, blah 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 blah.
Right.
So it kind of felt like, okay, it's about to be weird. Dan's about to really take over this whole show, and then he kind of confirmed it yesterday because I'm like, maybe I'm reading too much into it. Confirmed yesterday about taking over play call, and then I think that it's a real big indictment that it took 10 weeks to switch it up and go with something different. Now, granted, I don't think anybody should be out here, you know, ready to do a celebration over Campbell taking over the play calling now. I mean, they didn't lose, but that's low-hanging fruit.
Right.
Look, I'm not going to sit here and say, wow, Dan Campbell had an impressive Sunday with his play calling, but I'm looking at Anthony Lynn. He's not going to have a job by the end of the year.
Oh, absolutely not. I think he's on the way out.
Yeah, he's gone. And if the Lions aren't going to go out and pursue a young, offensive-minded, innovative guy, they're not gonna translate well in the future. Do you really want Dan Campbell calling your plays? He kind of said what he is. He said, "I'm a leader of a group of guys. I can ask you to do your job and you to do your job, and I can hold you both accountable, and I'll hold myself accountable." That's the kind of head coach he is. And like a Bill Parcells, maybe is the way I'm going with it.
And that's fine. I'm cool with that because, you know, it's evident that the players are still playing for. It's evident that at least to some degree, they're not lost upon his message. But holy crap, just think about how bad of an offensive coordinator job Anthony Lynn has done this season. That it took Dan Campbell to get to this point, and we already know he's not a great X's and O's guy, but it got a tie. It didn't lose. I mean, it's
right. And the fact that he gave him 10 weeks to really decide we're going to take the ball out of Jared Goff's hands means he trusts him, Anthony Lynn, of course. And then now yesterday, I want to ask you about Jared Goff, though. We saw yesterday they completely took the ball out of his hands, which credit to them. They had a chance to win that ball game. But you heard a lot of the rumors with put David Blau in because Jared Goff didn't look good. I mean, physically.
Yeah, he had a rib injury.
So explain the injuries. What was wrong with Jared? I didn't catch it through the TV just watching.
I didn't really see where the injury happened, to be quite honest. I mean, I'm watching the game, but I didn't see where that exact moment. But he had a rib oblique injury. That's what he finished with. That's what Dan Campbell said. And if we're just going to go and talk about Jared Goff's play, here's the thing. David Blau is not a better quarterback than Jared Goff. I think we all know that. But at the same time, let's examine the context of yesterday. It's proven it's arguable whether David Blau would have gotten the Lions the win or not. That's debatable. Mm-hmm. But it's proven that Jared Goff was not the best decision to stick with to get the win. He was physically hurt. And what is the point of a backup quarterback? When your starter is hurt or your starter is down, that's what the backup quarterback comes in. And I believe the fact that with Goff being so hurt, you couldn't keep the Pittsburgh Steelers defense honest.
Right. Because
you intentionally turned into a one-dimensional team right before their very eyes. And if he wasn't a first-year head coach, if he wasn't done with dealing with all these scraps, Dan would have been out of there after that game.
I agree with you. And that's kind of where I was going with it too.
Yeah, I mean, but he's dealing with a raw situation. I think we all understand that. But Goff yesterday, it was really bad. It was one of those points where it's like, all right, you know what, you're hurt. Go ahead and sit you down. And I think the real biggest thing that really stuck with me was they doubled down on the post game on their decision to stick with them. I that's alarming to me.
What did they say post game with their decision?
They just said that they talked to him, they talked to Mark Brunell and the coordinators, and everybody felt that he was fine, and if he's fine, he's good to go. Go ahead and leave him out there. I disagree with that decision.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is, here's why I think they did it. They'll probably never admit it. I think they did that because again, I don't want people taking words in my mouth. Not saying that David Blau would have gotten them the win, but if David Blau would have gotten under center and pulled off Dan Campbell's first W, how do you look back at Jared Goff?
Well, look, Jared Goff is done, guys. He was done before he ever came to Detroit. He was traded along with 2 first-round picks for a reason. Yep. The guy has been regressing. Take him out of an offense that has a Robert Woods, a Cooper Kupp, a good offensive line, a good run game, and an innovative head coach, and Sean McVay. This is what he looks like. That's what he is. Sorry. Shouldn't have come as a surprise if you would just listen. But back to Sunday, Kory. I think what I'm going to take away most from this game is this is a really bad football team.
Yeah,
and
it's bad.
I said I'd give Dan till next Thanksgiving. I'm not even sure if it's fair to even say next Thanksgiving from a timeline standpoint because they're that bad. I think he needs maybe more time. Maybe the roster needs a bigger overhaul than what I expected. This is ridiculous. You can't back off your decisions like this, man.
I mean, you have to think of what he's really dealing with. Look at how many undrafted free agents are on the defense.
And they're making noise.
They're making noise, but still.
True.
You're dealing with. I don't like the whole making excuses for people, coaches and whatnot, because injuries are a part of the NFL. But this guy's really dealing with the bottom of the barrel. He really is, and it's like you can question his decisions, but
you look at the bottom of the NFL, man. The rosters are very similar. And I could make the argument that the Lions have more playmakers than some of the bottom tier rosters. Especially on the offensive side of the ball.
It's tough to really pick a
playmaker.
You know
what? I think right now, Jared Goff is playing so badly, it's really hard to see what those playmakers on the offense are made of. Mm-hmm. I mean, we're not really able to see the true potential.
But we're 10 weeks in now, Kory. Mm-hmm. And Anthony Lynn's going to lose his job.
100%.
Yeah. And he hasn't done a good job of getting T.J. Hawkinson open in space. He hasn't used DeAndre Swift well enough. And now you get him 33 carries, but he's barely over 3 yards a clip. And, again, you looked good early with Matt Nelson till he went down. And then you were just a predictable offense that was getting 2 yards a carry and you were punting the ball.
Right.
That's what you were doing from probably early third quarter for the rest of the game. And then you made some plays downfield and you killed yourself with penalties, Kory.
It's an anemic offense. And it's the part of it is blame on the quarterback. The other part of the blame is the offensive coordinator. It's really that simple. It's no way to really see what the true. I think Aaron Glenn is maximizing the potential that he can off that defense,
which is what you want to see in a rebuild, right?
Yeah.
But no one's going to complain in a rebuild if you are getting your players to play one above level, but 2 people are seeing that developmental growth. Like, wow, I can see where this goes in the future with the defense.
The Jalen Elliott's, the A.J. Parkers, the Bobby Prices.
Marlowe's made some plays.
Marlowe, you're seeing those guys step up and make plays, but you're not able to really see the true potential of T.J. Hawkinson taking that next level, Amon-Ra getting to a level.
Yeah.
You're not Khalif Raymond. You're not able to really see what those guys have because, I mean, like I said, don't want to beat a dead horse, but it's the quarterback and the offensive coordinator. Those 2 things right there is really handicapping this team, and I believe that if Anthony Lynn is here another year, there's 1 or 2 things going to happen. Either Anthony Lynn has to go, or Jared Goff has to go at the end of the season. Both of them can't come back next year.
It ain't working. Yeah.
Both of them can't come back.
Anthony Lynn's gone.
At least one has to go.
No,
and I believe the money would be on Anthony Lynn.
He's 100% gone, and I don't see why you would keep him. I mean, you want to talk about a fall from grace. The head coach in Los Angeles for the Chargers, young rookie quarterback.
They got a defensive coach, and Justin Herbert looks better.
I know.
Yeah, and the Anthony Lynn story.
But you know what? I want
to
just to piss everybody off this morning. I hope we can say that. I forgot we got to.
Oh, you good? You good?
Just to tick everybody off this morning. I'm not going to sit up and not to make your head explode. I'm not going to sit up here and say that the Lions should have signed Cam Newton. I'm not.
Oh, hell no.
I'm not going to say that. But I was just joking online. I said, you know what? Should the Lions entertain him, just to see what he has? And a lot of people were like, oh, my God, you don't know football. You're the worst thing ever, blah, 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 blah. Guess what? In Cam Newton, who has played his first game in Week 10, has as many passing touchdowns as Jared Goff since
Kory.
Week 5. One.
Kory just did it.
Jared Goff, what is it? One touchdown in the last 5 games,
He's had one
right?
touchdown since Week 5.
Cam got 2.
And that one touchdown that he had was against the Rams, where really DeAndre Swift did all the work.
To the house,
yeah. It's bad. I mean, it's as bad as it gets, especially with Anthony Lynn. I want to talk about, like, if you look at Aaron Glenn, and I know you've been covering the team and asking him questions, like, what he's been able to do, you kind of alluded to it, with the players he has, overachieving. It doesn't help Anthony Lynn's case. Like, name another team that has a dynamic backfield and at least a weapon like T.J. Hockenson. And you can talk about the offensive line all you want. Like, talk about Khalif Raymond. I mean, Anthony Lynn drew up a shot play in the first quarter. Jared Goff didn't hit him. So there's levels to this. But, yeah, Anthony Lynn, my God, man. I mean, it's tough. That tandem, Jared Goff and Anthony Lynn, it's a match made in hell. It ain't heaven. And it ain't working out.
Lynn's gone. Lynn's gone at the end of the year.
And he's the easiest. He's the easiest to go.
Scapegoat. He's the easiest scapegoat. Him and Goff. But guys, I'm telling you about Jared Goff. He's $30 million on the books next year.
He's here.
So Brad Holmes needs to make a decision. Am I taking a quarterback early, late in the first round, second or third? And if I do, I'm sitting him probably for the first 6-8 games.
Right.
And when Goff looks like what he looks like now, I'm benching him and I'm putting in the rookie.
I think that from just looking at a few things, I'm thinking that they should probably go in the later rounds with the quarterback. I wouldn't go maybe like second or third. I wouldn't go with the first couple, but I mean,
I think third round is a good spot, but it depends. Yeah, you have to remember if you got number 1 overall, and you're not sold on Kayvon Thibodeau, well then you got to find a buyer who A wants Thibodeau or B wants a quarterback. And if that package makes you drop down to 4 or 5 or whatever it may be, and you can still end up with an edge rusher like Hutchinson, well then you're in business. Mm-hmm. But I think the consensus is they're probably going to take Thibodeau number 1 overall unless something drastically changes. You probably go. Believe his name is Strong out of
Carson.
Not Strong. Carson Strong. Excuse me. Jamal Battles out of Alabama.
Jordan Battle.
Jordan Battle. Outside,
yeah, I know
Alabama.
You're talking about. Safety.
I think maybe that's a safety you go in the second. Not second round. Late first round.
Yeah.
Second round, you can go on a flyer quarterback like a Carson Strong. You can try to go on a flyer, maybe pick it depending how you don't know where these quarterbacks. Guys, Zach Wilson this time last year was a projected 3rd round pick. Zach Wilson, the number 2 overall pick, was projected 3rd overall.
It looked like they took him too high.
So, if the market's there, Lions are going to be in a good position. If it's not there, then you know what to do. Address the defensive side of the ball. Aaron Glenn, you could have a top 12 defense next year, given his ability to coach.
Yep.
Aaron Glenn has shown more than anybody has.
I want to see what Aaron Glenn does with better talent, because what he's squeezing out right now, I'm like,
imagine Aaron Glenn right now as the defensive coordinator with the Los Angeles Rams.
Imagine Aaron
You tell me he wouldn't be able to replicate what Brandon Staley did?
Imagine Aaron Glenn with the defense that Matt Patricia and Bob Quinn got rid of.
Yeah, right. And that's what bums me out. You saw what Aaron Glenn was able to do with Marshawn Lattimore. That kind of stress. That's what bums me out with Jeff Okudah. Has missed the whole season. That was a big, big piece for him. But with this team, like, man, I give you credit. I know that we haven't had a win so far. You've been covering the team. You got your first tie.
Got my first tie. It's not an L. Not an L.
Not an L. That's what you got to look at now. Moral victories, man. I mean, but I wouldn't have a problem if the Lions took a quarterback, not even next year, if they waited another year. Just sign competition. I just want at least somebody behind Jared Goff.
I don't need anybody behind Jared Goff because I'm paying him $30 million. That dude is going to go out there
better than David
and he's
Block.
going to get hurt whether he likes it or not. He's going to stay on the field until he is crippled. You know why? 1, I'm paying him $30 million. 2, I know that I'm 3 years away from having an 8, 9, 10 win football team. So for the next 2, Jared, lose me as many games as you want because I got 4 first-round picks in the next 2 drafts. Maximize them. I don't care what Jared Goff does. He's not staying in Detroit, guys. He's not getting another contract.
But here's my question to you. This is my big question for really the whole Lions fan base. Lions fans have always screamed, We want a true rebuild. We want a true rebuild. We want
Welcome
a
to
true rebuild.
one.
This is what a true rebuild looks like.
Mm-hmm.
You lose because you don't have the proper talent. So, are you going to give Dan Campbell the leeway to go ahead and see this through?
I think it's more of a Brad Holmes question, right?
Yeah.
Because Dan Campbell, again, if the talent is that bad around him, I can make the argument you got to keep Dan Campbell until you've put enough around him where you can see how he can coach.
Yes. And that's
but with
what
Brad Holmes, I mean, they're taking the Cleveland Browns route. You've addressed the O-line. O-line looks good. You've got you like your backfield.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, but you don't have the quarterback. So you don't have edge rushers. So you need to draft a Myles Garrett. You need to draft a Baker Mayfield-esque. I mean, that's kind of what you're trying to build around. And you need to take a Denzel Ward. And you need to get secondary players.
Mm-hmm.
That takes years to do. You can't do that all in one draft.
Right.
Good thing
This
they got
is a
John Dorsey if they're
3-4
taking that
draft
Browns
window.
approach.
This is a real rebuild. This is your pure definition of one. You are going to suck for the next 24 months. Get used to it. Just get used to it. And by year 3, Dan Campbell better put out an 8-9 win product. Why? Because I believe if Brad Holmes does his job, this is all based on if Brad Holmes does his job.
Of course.
And the coaching staff does their job, that they're going to have a damn good team in 2 to 2.5 years.
And I don't know. I think the verdict right now is out on if Brad Holmes is doing a good job or not, because a lot of these guys that they're acquiring are not really, being that big, putting that big of a contribution up. I mean, you got Trinity Benson, you got Kadero Hodge. What have those guys done since getting here? Nothing. They're basically been useless. I don't know. And the thing is, I don't know if that's on them or I don't know if that's on Anthony Lynn.
I got to bring up one more dude, and maybe I'm being too much before we go to break. But there's one dude. If I could, I would love to just ask him why, in the most agonizing way. Mark Brunell, you dared compare this guy, the number 16, to Drew freaking Brees? Are you serious?
Yeah,
and we laughed up here when it happened. Like you're just complimenting the dude. He is not that good. What the hell are you seeing? I'm gonna take Sean McVay's word over Mark Brunell's any day of the week. That looks really dumb. But Kory, we got to go to break. Thank you so much for joining us, man.
No problem.
I'm sorry that you haven't covered a win yet.
It's cool, but I just got to say this, man. I think we got to give Sean McVay his flowers because boy, did he make. He made
some chicken soup out of chicken. You know what?
Yeah,
He
took it right out of my mouth. I was gonna say chicken salad, but same difference.
Yeah,
Imagine Detroit expecting to go to an NFC Championship game, expecting to win your division with that bum at your quarterback. With that bum
paying
as
him what
your
you're paying
quarterback.
him. Yeah,
I'm unreal.